Okay, so we get over there,
And
we
Betty
go
Red
to
was
the...
with you, right?
Huh?
Betty Red was with you.
She was already in Columbus.
Gotcha.
Don't tell
Her
me.
daddy had died, and she was staying with her mama for a couple of weeks over there. And so, anyway, we went to the tour that afternoon, went up to Old Waverly and went all through that. And so, Lee was expecting us to be home before dark. Excuse me. And so, somebody decides in the meantime, well, let's feed the girls supper before we go.
It's a 3-hour drive from Columbus to Cleveland back then. It still is, really.
And so, anyway, we decided that, okay, they wanted to go to J&H. So we went to J&H. And somebody, maybe it was Gusta, because we had been supposed to go by to pick Betty Red up to bring her back home with us. So she said, well, let me call Betty and tell her we'll be later coming. And I said, well, tell her to call Lee, and, well, she was going to call Ro and say we'd be later. And I said, tell her to tell Ro to call Lee and tell him that we're going to be later. So I wasn't even worried about Lee. And that was before cell phones, you understand. And so we got through. Mimi had to have the broiled stuffed flounder or whatever it was, which took so long.
Long enough for us to eat a lot of garlic bread.
And so then we had to go by Betty Red's mama's house and pick her up and load her up and then, you know, get on the road. And so Betty said, y'all, if we go, there's a shortcut. If we go to West Point and get on Highway 8, we cut off 15 miles. 15 miles. You know, what's that in the overall scheme of things? But that's what we did. And so we were going along there, the four of us, just like this, you know, just talk. And all of a sudden I realized, I think Betty and I did about the same time, that, you know, something blue was flashing. And so we looked back there, and I said, y'all, there's a highway patrolman behind us, and he's got his light on. And Gusta said, well, he had knifed to me, I'm not doing anything. So she just kept going. And so every once in a while we'd look around, you know, and I'd say, y'all, he's still back there. And well, we thought, well, why doesn't he go catch who's doing something wrong? But I made the mistake of saying, well, I swear I thought this. I said, well, I think they're supposed to pull up beside you if they mean for you to stop. You know, pull up beside you. But now this is it. Betty Red said, well, I think they keep their lights on all night on Saturday. That made perfect sense to us. We just kept going. So we go up and down a few more hills, and there they put up a roadblock. There was the highway patrol would say, that man got out behind us. Y'all, he was the maddest man I believe I ever saw. And he whirled up beside Gusta, and she rolled a little bit up. And he said, lady, do you know the speed limit through Barterman? And all of us together said, where's Barterman? And see, Lee, who was absolutely just furious, he said, they got street lights all down the highway where Barterman is. You know, his comment was, anybody with no more sense than that doesn't need to be on the road. That was the way he summed it all up.
Lee, not the highway patrolman.
Lee said that after I finally got home. But anyway, I did make the mistake. I did make the horrible, horrible mistake of saying, well, I thought, why didn't I keep my mouth shut? I thought you were supposed to pull up beside us if you meant for us to stop. And he was all but jumping up and down. He said, lady, I can't pull up beside you on these hills. And I thought, well, he can't, you know. But at least Betty kept her mouth. Well, you know, he said, and he sounded real pitiful because, you know, he said, well, didn't you hear my siren? we were talking.
4 miles going.
We didn't hear his
Did
siren.
Darcy get a ticket?
We talked him out of it. He told us just to go on. Well, Smitty said, he said, I know the reason he let y'all go on. You rolled down those windows and nearly garlicked him to death. But the funny thing was, Dr. Jack's mama was still living. And she was so worried about Gusta, she didn't know what to do. So she had called the Highway Patrol headquarters in Greenwood. And she had them looking all up and down Highway and we over here on Highway 8 taking our shortcut. So,
Being arrested.
but I don't know how we talked him out of that ticket. Honestly,
But he was just totally wrung out.
he was wrong out. He thought, I want to be rid of these
Just
crazy
go
women.
on, I never want to see you.
Now get out of my district.
He's thinking those poor people over in Boulder County have to put up with this.
Y'all, every time when we have a Christmas get-together at Thimbles, I'm talking about, Rorette makes me tell that tale every year. And I said, Ro, everybody knows this well as I do. We'll tell it one more time.
You want some good
And the
laughs.
sad thing was, he didn't call Betty.
He didn't, but Betty forgot to tell him.
So my daddy thought she was on the side
Smushed
of
on the
somewhere.
road.
Oh, he was so worried, y'all, because it was after
11?
11 o'clock when I got home. He's looking for me before dark. Troy said not long ago how worried Lee was. You know, and but where do you call? You know, how do you?
He could have called me.
Find out when you
I guess
left.
he didn't.
But we only had the one home.
I reckon not.
I was afraid that she had a wreck. He didn't want you to find out. Anyway, he didn't want to worry you.
Probably so.
Well, anyhow,
Well, it
what-
would have worried me, but I would have been able to tell him they left late.
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, that's proverbial water under the bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Indeed.
he was so.
Can you diagram that sentence?
Sad. Which one? You better believe I can. Take it on.